Well, as you might suspect, the first thing we need to do before we go into the content is we need to look at the syllabus. And so, if you haven't printed the syllabus, I want you to do so because we're going to have to go through it together. And so, it's very important for you to get your syllabus right now. You can pause the video if you don't have it. Just pause it, get your syllabus, and then we're going to go through it together. And so I want us to go through the syllabus so that you would know exactly what is expected, what this class is all about, what are the assignments you're going to have to do. And so that way it's going to be crystal clear and is going to make it so much easier on you. And so the first section is course description. Basically, I want you to notice something interesting about the course description. It's not just to fill your head with knowledge, but it's also to give you a passion. So let's read it together. This course provides a pragmatic introduction to Islam. It focuses on content that helps create a meaningful dialogue between Christians and Muslims. Although the basic tenets of Islam are covered as a matter of foundational knowledge, the course goes beyond a mere academic understanding into insights that are useful for Christians who want to be ambassadors for Christ among their Muslim friends and neighbors. So did you notice? It's not just to fill your head with knowledge. It's deliberately meant to give you insights that are pragmatic, practical, so that when you go and see Muslims, talk to them, interact with them, you will be that much more effective as an ambassador for Christ. And if you look at the course objectives, this is specifically what we are trying to achieve. It says, by means of class discussion, lecture, assignments, and tests, the student will first know the basic tenets of Islam. Second, evaluate the claims of Islam from a biblical point of view. Third, create meaningful dialogues with Muslims. Fourth, employ strategies to bring the gospel to Muslims. And fifthly, express enthusiasm about interacting with Muslims. I hope it's very clear what we're trying to achieve here. You will need to know certain things about Islam. There's no doubt about that. But beyond that, I want it to be practical. I want you to get excited to be equipped. I want you to become so effective at reaching out with the love of Christ to Muslims. And so that you will say, man, this class was so helpful. And I feel like I've grown. I feel like I've become more effective and more fruitful as a result of it. Now, the course textbooks, I hope you were able to look at that before you started the class, because otherwise you're going to have to purchase them right now and try to get the books before it's too late. There are 3 books, I believe. Yes, 3 books that I want you to purchase. The first one is called Seeking Allah, Finding Jesus. It's by Nabil Qureshi. Oh, that's an amazing book. It's basically the biography of a Muslim who converted to Christianity. It's very, very useful, and we're going to have some discussion about it. And then the next one is a book that I wrote. It's called When a Person Asks Dangerous Questions. And that book, I wrote it for the purpose of sharing it with Muslims to start a conversation about the gospel. Now, it's interesting because when I wrote this, I had a lot of Muslim co-workers, and I wanted to be able to give something to them that they would want to read and that would really help them to consider the gospel. And I was looking at the resources, and there are a lot of good resources addressing Islam, but not the kind of resources that Muslims would actually want to read. So, for example, there's a book called Answering Islam. Just ask yourself this question. If a Muslim gave you a book entitled Answering Christians or Answering Christianity, would you actually read it? I don't think so. And so I wanted something that Muslims would actually take pleasure, would actually enjoy, love the story. And so I wrote it in the format of a short novel. And it's meant to kind of carry them along, give them interest, but at the same time, challenge them, make them think about the gospel, and really challenge them philosophically and theologically. If you don't want to purchase it through Amazon, you can send me an email. I can send you a free copy, electronic copy. There's also a website that uses my book. You can click the link on the syllabus and you're going to get to it. It's online. The third book I want you to purchase is called A Wind in the House of Islam. It's by David Garrison. And that book is so good because it shows you for the past 2 centuries what God has been doing in the Muslim world and how the Holy Spirit has been drawing people to Christ. It's so practical, so useful, because you will see exactly typically what happens in their lives and how movements begin. And it's going to be very useful for you and encouraging, I hope. And of course, we will dig into the primary sources, both the Bible and the Quran. You don't need to purchase the Quran. You can find the Quran online at Quran.com, and you're going to have everything you need right there, both in Arabic and in English. And so it's very useful. And if you don't have a Bible, you really need to purchase one. Otherwise, you can just go on the Bible Gateway. I gave you the classic site here because I think it's a better structure. Now, for the course requirements, so that's the section number 4. You will see there are 4 categories that we have here. The first one is attendance and participation, and that's 30% of your grade. So that's a huge amount, 30%. And basically, I want you to communicate with me just to show me that you're interacting with the course material. It's not a lot. Just show me that you're listening and that you're remembering what I'm saying. That's all. And so after each lecture, I'm going to give you some questions to answer. Very simple, very direct questions, just to show me that you're listening. And then whenever we have a book assignment, you're going to have to answer questions related to the book. And I want you to communicate with me if you have any questions about the assignments, about the lectures. Just send me an email. You have my email address on the first page here. Then the second requirement, or course requirement, will be the test. And that's going to be kind of at the end, everything will be done. And so I'm going to give you a general test, which will show that you remembered some of the important things from the class. And basically, I want you to do it before the semester ends. But I want you to go through all the lectures before you do so. And it's going to be 30% of your grade. Then there's going to be a paper. Again, 30% of your grade. So all of them are worth a lot. And the paper, I'm not going to be too difficult as I grade it. But I just want you to show me that you're able to synthesize and you're able to apply what you've learned. And I want you to really answer one of the following questions. And it's very specific. I want you to give me an explanation. I want you to make an argument in your thesis. So you can either answer the question, how does your knowledge of history help you to have a meaningful interactions with Muslims? And so, for example, you're going to learn about the history of Islam in this course. If you're able to use that knowledge of history, then I want you to show me as you answer this question. If you don't like history that much, then you don't have to answer that question. You can answer maybe the second question, which is, how does your biblical worldview help you to have meaningful interactions with Muslims? And you also have a third option, which is, how does your knowledge of the Quran and the Bible help you to have meaningful interactions with Muslims? And you might notice that any of the 3 questions involve meaningful interactions with Muslims. Because I want you to show me, not that you just have knowledge. I want you to show me that, but also, in addition to just showing me that you know stuff, I want you to show me that you can apply it. I want you to show me that you can actually integrate it logically in your life, and that you're able to evaluate things, you're able to reach out and to think properly through all of these issues. And your paper is going to be between 2,000 to 3,000 words. I want you to use the Chicago Manual of Style. If you don't like that format, just tell me which one you prefer, as long as it's a recognized format. And then the content, I want you to just show me that you have knowledge of the material. But then, in addition to showing me that you know stuff, I want you to show your critical thinking skills. Show me that you have the ability to think logically, that you have the ability to think biblically, and so that you can make good use of this knowledge. That's even more important. And finally, you need to have a bibliography and footnotes. I think I only asked for 4 reliable sources, which means not Wikipedia. Don't just use blogs, use actual articles or books. And whenever you have a source in your bibliography, it must also be somewhere in your footnotes. Otherwise, I asked the question, did you actually use that source? And that's pretty much it. Again, you have to submit your paper before the semester ends. And if you don't, I think I said 1 week before the end of the semester. And if you don't submit it on time, you're going to lose 10% per day. So it's going to go down pretty fast. If for some reason you don't think you'll be able to submit it on time, send me an email so that I can work with you. And the last one, after the test and the participation and the paper, I want you to submit an outreach plan. That's only 10% of your grade, but it's still, worth something. And basically, it says students must submit an outreach plan. This assignment is meant to demonstrate that students have a plan to live as ambassadors for Christ among Muslims. So you see, I want you to show me. You actually have a plan. You actually have an idea of how you're going to do this. And it's only going to be 1 page in length. It's not very long. The content, I want you to tell me how you plan to be an ambassador for Christ among Muslims. This includes how you intend to establish relationships with Muslims, how you intend to communicate with them, what your goals are for those interactions. And if you don't live in an area where there are Muslims, then I want you to be creative. Find another way to interact with Muslims. And finally, the format is very simple. You just put your name on top, the date, and just focus on the content. You don't need to worry about the format. And again, the deadline for this assignment is the same as 1 week before the end of the semester. So that's it. It's pretty straightforward. I'm not a tough grader. As long as you do what I ask you to do, you will get your points. I'm not going to say, well, I don't like it that much. If you show failure to reason, yeah, I might take some points off, but not just because I don't feel that it's good. No, I'm not going to be tough on you. And of course, there's the academic honesty policy from Faith Bible College, which is very important because we want you to demonstrate godly Christian character. We don't just want you to learn and to get a degree. We want you to be honest as you accomplish your work, because that's even more important than the work that you submit. And so you're going to be able to read it by yourself. This is the same for every class. We're almost done with the syllabus. Just bear with me a little bit more. The next one is going to be the schedule. If you look at your syllabus, you're going to find a chart. I don't know if you can see this, but it's a chart that shows you every session, what we're going to cover, and what are the assignments that you're going to have to submit. And this hopefully will be helpful to you. And hopefully it's straightforward. If you have any questions or concerns about this, just let me know. But otherwise, it should help you to kind of structure your time and to see what's coming up and what you need to be reading. And there's a suggested bibliography. That's you don't have to buy these books. It's just if you're one of those people who's really motivated, who wants to learn, who wants to go deeper, then you have some books that you could look at, which will help you to get the knowledge that you're looking for. And so that's all for the syllabus. Time to move on. So now that you see what's expected of you, I hope it's very clear that I want you to succeed. I'm not just trying to be hard on you when I give you assignments. The assignments are all designed to make you learn, to make you grow. And so for you to gain knowledge, for you to think logically, to think critically through the knowledge, and for you to be able to apply what you've learned, to become wise, to become a man or a woman of God among Muslims. And so I want you to succeed, which means that I'll give you all the help that you need. If you struggle, please reach out to me. For example, if you're just not sure what to say, I'm willing to give you feedback. I'm willing to look through your assignments before you actually submit them, so I can give you some helpful tips, because I just want you to succeed. So use me as much as you want. I'm there. Just send me an email. If you don't do email, you can try the WhatsApp. We can even do FaceTime on WhatsApp or on Zoom. I want to make myself available to you. I want you to succeed. I want you to grow. That's my goal here. There's not going to be any tricks. just straightforward. That's how I am. That's how it's going to be in our class. So you ready? Take a deep breath. It's time to begin.